On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the number one key for the Broncos to beat the Cowboys. We're giving our score predictions, and we're hearing from our guy, Brian Baldinger. Plus, so much more, and it all starts now. No FBI talk on this show. We're talking about the Denver Broncos taking on the Dallas Cowboys and the key to victory. We're talking to our guy, Brian Baldinger, and giving our final picks, and we're doing it inside the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, driven by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Deposit $5, deposit $10, place a bet of $5. You're going to get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up. We of the DNVR Broncos Podcast. Ryan Koenigsberg to my left, Henry Chisholm to my right. We got you here behind the camera, Zac Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. How we doing?
Doing great. Ready to give some inside information on the
Broncos. Which Broncos most likely to go down in an FBI
Okay,
raid?
let's not.
The answer's always the kicker.
Well,
Always
No.
the kicker.
That's not
It's
what
always
I
the
would-
kicker.
On this one, I think there's an obvious one.
He learned his lesson.
I'm not going to say any names, though.
It's always the kicker.
Insane question.
Yeah, I mean, crazy that there's Colorado ties to the big news this morning. Big time Colorado ties,
Yes.
actually. But we are focusing on the Broncos today. And speaking of scandals, we had a couple of scandals that we talked to Sean Payton about yesterday. Ryan, give me 2 minutes, and then we will officially be done with Russell Wilson talk. Official. How about that?
Yes.
Do you
Fine.
need me to handle it with him and you can...
Yeah, I'll just excuse myself. No, what's crazy is the Russ defenders, I guess you would call them, are coming after me for my take about how we should stop talking about this.
Why?
I don't know.
They want more Russ in
Well,
their
they
life?
just want to be talked about.
Yeah, it was weird. I
We're
was
lucky. We're lucky this isn't the NBA, where at this point the majority of fans just cheer for a single player,
and the games are rigged.
and also that piece also really stinks about it. But like imagine if there were just like Russ fans, and there still are a small group, but it's different than the NBA, who they know the time of Russ being talked about is nearly over, and so they have to cling to all these moments as much as they can.
Yeah.
This is a good one to cling to if you're
All right.
going to.
Yeah.
But
Get it over with.
Sean put this to bed yesterday. Oh, he didn't. Oh, fascinating. Let's hear from Sean. He was simply asked just, did you see Russell Wilson's tweet yesterday? And here's what Sean had to say.
I did. Look, and the euphoria, the way that game unfolded, that was strictly about Dart. I mean, and I that was in no way, shape, or form anything that was directed at Russ. So, and I might be able to see how he might perceive that, but coming off that win and watching how he played, that wasn't any intention at all.
Exactly what we thought he was going to say.
Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Do you want to say why you don't think that's the end?
I want this to go away.
Oh, okay. But you don't think it's going to go away?
Well, no, it hasn't gone away because everyone's just jumping on Sean now saying he's a liar.
Here we are. Yeah, it's still here. No, it's dumb. Again, it wasn't directed at Russ, but that's kind of the way this always goes. It's never directed at Russ. It's always he gets hit by the shrapnel, and boy has Sean really like shot the cannonball into the wall right next to Russ repeatedly and just obliterated him with shrapnel repeatedly. Like, yeah, I appreciate Sean for not being afraid to do that. He picks his enemies. I appreciate Russ for finally just saying, like, you know what you're doing. You don't have to be an ass.
Yeah. Again, we're 2 years past this.
We are.
And now we're officially past it because then Sean was asked about Dre Greenlaw, and he was asked, he only spent a minute talking about Greenlaw, and there were a couple of questions in between. So we'll just let this whole thing roll since it's less than a minute. And the first question was posed to Sean as, do you have any thoughts about Dre Greenlaw's suspension? And of course he does. So here's what Sean said.
Yeah, and they don't really matter, right? We take it. You focus on the things you can control, and then you're on to the next game.
Is that the kind of thing that you guys are behind him on, or are you sitting down
Well,
and do this again?
Look, it was just prior precedence, that's all. So, yeah, we were clearly in his corner with the appeal. What normally has been a fine ended up being different. So, but again, we can't control that.
When you're in his corner, I mean, do you talk to the NFL yourself? Right?
No, there's a process. There's just an appeal. An outside person hears it, and within a day, they make a decision. So it's that simple.
Coach, did you know after the game that something went on, or did you just find
And the next morning, for me, yeah.
Well, Sean was telling the complete truth there. He said, yeah, I have some thoughts about it, but not important to share.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right. Very rare for Sean Payton to admit that his thoughts aren't important.
That's a good one.
But this sucks. This sucks.
I mean, and Sean's exactly right. I mean, I think we all agreed with him that, like, in the past, verbal things like this, where there's no physical altercation, are a big fine, especially when talking to a ref. Did you guys hear Pastor Tan on his podcast?
Yeah.
I was afraid that after that he was going to get suspended for admitting how he talked to a ref right there. But it was surprising for everyone that it was not only suspended, but then the suspension was upheld.
Yeah. I appreciate Sean. So there's always like the extra stuff with Sean. There's always like a little bit extra fun he adds into whatever. And the fun is sometimes just being an ass to Russ. But at his core, he's a football coach, a really, really good football coach. And all the football coaches are like the stoics who just say, we can control what we can control. We can't control anything else. So we block out the everything else and we only pay attention to what we control. So when you're asked, what do you think of it? It doesn't matter. And if Sean's going to spend 3 hours thinking like, oh no, what do we do now? It is what it is. There's no point in kind of thinking about it. And luckily they already have a plan for what to do without Greenlaw, because that's who they are. They're a defense that doesn't have Dre Greenlaw. That's every week.
I think, though, Sean didn't say it for that reason. I think Sean said it doesn't matter because he doesn't want to get fined by the NFL, because he would have said it's total BS, and it's better for his thoughts to just stay internal.
And I can only assume that the NFL had an audio file.
And the mic, the ref wears a mic throughout the game.
Yeah, and so they were able to just like open it up, see what he said, say, yeah, that's pretty bad. We're upholding it and move on. Otherwise, like in a he said, she said, just yelling words situation, I cannot imagine how this would have been upheld. So I don't know what was said. I truly have no clue. I also just have to assume that it crossed some sort of line that there's not much budging from. And so we go another week without Dre Greenlaw.
Yep. And then by the second half of the year, he will be fresh, only have played 21 snaps. So
he might be fresh at the end of the year. I'm a little concerned still.
It's fair. Next game that Dre Greenlaw is eligible to play is on the road against the Houston Texans. But we're not overlooking the Dallas Cowboys, because we all said the Broncos have to have a lot of respect for them, potentially be afraid, be worried about them, because this is not a team that you can overlook. Despite the laughingstock that they were at the beginning of the year, they've turned things around. Dak Prescott firmly in the MVP conversation. Javonte Williams in the conversation to lead the NFL in rushing. George Pickens is fourth in the NFL in receiving, and CeeDee Lamb is widely viewed as a top 5 receiver. Yeah. So let's turn to the Dallas Cowboys. And guys, I think the key to the game was talked about yesterday, and not a specific way from Sean Payton saying it's the key to the game, but Sean Payton more so making a bigger conversation. And essentially, in my mind, what he said was penalties are a key for the Broncos' entire season and them making a run here. So yesterday, Sean was asked about the crazy number of penalties they have to have, and boy, he did not hold back on his true feelings about the penalties. Let's listen to this.
Both sides of the ball, that's concerning, and we've addressed it. We'll continue to address it, and that, it's one of those items that has to get cleaned up.
When you look at your goals, can you reach them if you don't bring that number down?
Say it again. It would be.
Goals, can you reach it if you don't bring that number?
I think it would be unprecedented. In other words, I don't know that we can find. So that has to change to get to where we want to go.
Is that in personnel? Because you're so detailed oriented out here. Is it?
But not detailed enough. In other words, we still have to look at ourselves first as coaches.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, you just said it there. That was a good answer at the end by Sean to say that the coaches still have things that they can do to make it better. But the big thing there is it's never happened where a team is like number one in penalties and keeps shooting themselves in the foot and then makes a championship run. The Broncos have to get out of their own way. And I think it was J.K. Dobbins after the game was very blunt and honest about this and essentially said with all the mistakes, so penalties and other things in the game, if we were playing a better team other than the Giants, we don't win that game. And that's the truth. Whenever you have more than 100 penalty yards, honestly more than probably 70 or 80 penalty yards, and the Broncos have been lucky because they're a really good team. So they've not only been able to overcome the Giants and the Eagles and the Bengals with racking up so many, and the Jets with racking up so many penalty yards, but they've also been able to beat themselves and overcome beating themselves with that. That I don't think, I know it won't happen. The Broncos won't be able to overcome that in the playoffs. I don't think you're able to overcome that this week against the Dallas Cowboys either.
I'm really worried about this. really worried about this. And I'm like 80% the Broncos have to figure out a way to stop this. 10% the Broncos are being officiated unfairly. And 10% the Broncos now have a reputation for this, so they're going to continue to be officiated the way they've been officiated, whether that's unfairly or not.
I can't get behind your first 10%. But I can get behind your second 10%.
And that's a scary
sure.
one. I mean, we saw it in a micro version happen with Garrett Bowles. I feel like where when he got a reputation for holding, now the refs are looking to see if you're holding, and now you're holding again. And it just worries me. And it almost feels like it gives the refs license to call penalties on you because it's like, oh, this is a heavily penalized team. So like, oh yeah, that is pass interference because that's what they always do. Or, that is defensive holding or that is holding on the offense. Yeah. And it's just scary. It's a scary slope. And Sean's right. There's no precedent of heavily penalized teams being great teams. It's just very rare. So it's perplexing because this is a good coaching staff, I think.
Yeah.
And usually those two things go hand in hand. The word that everyone uses is undisciplined. To me, that goes back to how are they being disciplined for creating penalties, and maybe that needs to go up. I don't know how Sean polices players for getting penalties, but there also is a situation where maybe he's just looking at the penalties on film and saying, can't be that mad at that guy because that shouldn't have been a penalty.
And that's the takeaway for me. I think like the two guys who have all the penalty yards are Riley Moss and Pat Surtain. Like that's more than a quarter of all your penalty yards. Riley's second in the NFL. I think he's got like 87. Pat's got like something in the 60s. And I think a lot of those plays, when they happen, you say, that's a tough break. I don't think I would have thrown that flag. And there are a couple with Riley where you say like, yep, that's a big penalty. But if you were just to take a quarter of the penalty yards, more than a quarter of the penalty yards, just right off the top and say that those two guys don't have all those yards racked up, then it's a little bit different. And the other piece is that there are so many different guys who have contributed a penalty here, penalty there. But I think that when you look at a problem like this, you have to start at the top and say, okay, who is getting called for all these penalties? And the answer is number one, it's Riley. Number two, it's Pat. And then if you want to drop down, then there's a gap, but then it's Talnufunga after. And so you could really kind of close in on the secondary is where they're getting called for things that I probably wouldn't have called myself.
And maybe that's the cost of doing business with how much man coverage they play.
Potentially.
But even then, though, let's say in the past month where the Broncos have pretty much averaged 120 yards of penalties and 12 penalties against them, if you take away the 25%, which you might have reason to be able to do that, it's still 9 penalties for 90 yards from the rest of your team when you're taking off your top 2 offenders. That's still not acceptable. Like, you cannot have that. So I do think that maybe there is something to what you said about the refs calling it a little more now against the Broncos. And now the refs maybe being a little more anti-Sean, especially after he runs on the field. That probably doesn't vibe with them very well. Dre Greenlaw getting suspended for yelling at the refs. Maybe there is some of that in the back of their mind, or more so in the front of their mind right now. But you can complain about it all you want. If you're not going to change it, then you can forget a deep playoff run. And Sean's the one to admit that.
But I just don't know how you change it.
So,
Like, penalties
right.
are one of those things that's
Right.
just so hard for me, because it's like, I don't know. It's always been something that's put on coaches, but it really has everything to do with the players.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
weird thing.
it is. And there was maybe a little hint from Sean that they're doing something to help with these penalties. And let's talk about it after I give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time, where Game Time is the best place to go if you want to get tickets for concerts, but specifically games. And guys, we got an awesome game this week. I think this is the most expensive ticket in the NFL. And the cool thing about Game Time is you're going to get the best price out there by using their user-friendly app. And make sure to download the app. Use the code DNVR to get $20 off. And then also, not only for Broncos, but if you want to go to a Nuggets or Avs game, they are officially kicked off as of tonight. First Nuggets home game Saturday.
Yep.
Is that right? Saturday. So if you're going to be in town and want to go to that, the reason it's called Game Time is because the closer you get to game time, typically the better the prices are. So keep that in mind for this Broncos Cowboys game. And again, use that code DNVR after you download the Game Time app. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Again, create an account and use the code DNVR for $20 off. Tap ticket, go download the Game Time app today.
And shout out to Bet365. Today we get our first Avs Nuggets parlay of the year, which is always a lot of fun. Because we just get to sit down and the times are staggered a little bit. So you get to see about 4 hours total probably of the Avs and Nuggets playing tonight, which is a lot of fun.
What are the odds of that parlay?
Well, the Avs are playing Carolina. I almost said the Panthers. That's the
I
Carolina
mean,
Panthers.
the Nordiques are playing the Whalers.
Right, which is it's so dumb. But I think they are maybe slight favorites there, but that's a tough matchup. The Nuggets are underdogs playing against the Warriors. You don't get the Nuggets at plus money very often. So tonight, of all nights, you get this will probably be the best value you get on one of those this year.
It's got to be close, plus 110 or something.
Plus 108, but yeah, so right around there. Bet365 is the place to go. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5. Get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
And let's take a look at some good news really quick before we continue this conversation. The common spirit injury report for the Broncos is good news all the way around. Broncos only 2 guys on the injury report, and really only 1 guy, and that 1 guy is trending in the right direction. Mike McGlinchey is on the injury report after kind of being on and off the field the last couple of plays of the game, but he was a full participant, which means he's good to go. He's just dealing with a little foot and
Looked
ankle
good during
out
the
there.
celly.
Yes, he certainly did. And then Jonah Ellis, he has not practiced in 2 weeks. He practiced yesterday dealing with that shoulder injury. He practiced on a limited basis. So, I mean, this is as good of an injury report as you can get. And that's what Common Spirit delivers: a good injury report and experience a difference. Compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you and discover new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. So really good. I mean, we're in week 8 right now, and the Broncos injury report looking really good. Okay, so, touching wood. Thank you. So, Ryan, I think Sean might be doing something different in practice.
Okay.
And he admitted yesterday that practice was different than a usual Wednesday, but he wouldn't tell us why. And then we heard from Bo that there's a different focus level at practice, and the attention to detail is a little different. And I think what Sean Payton is changing during practice, at least yesterday's practice, is specifically regarding the penalties. Okay. Focus, detail. And he says we need to make Wednesday's practice more like a Sunday game. So I think they might be going harder. And there might be refs, they might be calling them, and you might be getting punished if you're getting penalties during the practice. So yeah, so I like it. And it gives me hope because I agree, Ryan. I feel like every time we ask a coach or a player about penalties and how to fix it, they just say like, I just got to be more detailed, more focused. What does that mean? Like, how do you do that? Yeah. And so Sean's actually trying to do something.
Love it. Love that.
Yeah,
I hope it works.
And I think the other reason they're doing it is because they want the hot starts. I think that's kind of where the question came from when Sean got into that. And being in the locker room talking to Mike McGlinchey, Pat Bryant talked a lot about it. He's like, yeah, it's very different. There's more energy. It's more competitive. Like you said, they want the Wednesday to be more like the Sunday. And maybe there's like penalty aspects too, but I think the hot starts, the penalties, that's kind of where the focus is, and that's why they wanted to change things up.
And I like that they're doing something. All right, let's look at what Sunday is going to be like for the Broncos with the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't ask you this question yesterday. If you're Vance Joseph, are you more focused on taking away the Cowboys pass game or the Cowboys run game? Because we know Dak is playing as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the best right now. And Javonte Williams has the second most rushing yards in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd be taking away the run. I want them to be one-dimensional.
Whoa.
I don't think taking away the pass is really a thing.
I think you see all the coverage shells, you leave the two safeties deep, you make them kind of chip away underneath.
But Dak will do that. Actually, he doesn't love to take checkdowns. If both things were created equally and they were both just as simple, I would take away the pass. I don't think that's a thing. So I want to make them one-dimensional, and the easiest path to doing that to me is by taking away the run.
Oh, Ryan, Daniel Sepp in the Toyota chat says the same thing. Always take away the run first. Always. Henry?
I don't know.
Joseph actually himself disagrees with that. I remember it from a Broncos Chiefs game when he was the head coach. And he basically said every time the Chiefs run the ball, they're doing us a favor.
Yeah. Right. Right. And I think you kind of have to trust your defensive front. Like, to me, that's where your stars are. Like that. I still like those matchups better. I'm terrified of these receivers. George Pickens has been obviously incredible. CeeDee Lamb's been hurt, but has put up 110 yards in every game he's played, minus the one where he got hurt 7 plays in. That's ridiculous production from a receiver. And even for a guy like Pat Surtain, this to me is the toughest matchup of the year for Pat Surtain. Like
CD?
Yeah, tougher than Jamar, certainly tougher than AJ Brown. I think that this is pretty easily the toughest one because he's just so fluid, and because you also have a quarterback who can get him the ball over and over again. So I think the fact that I don't want to say I'm scared of Pat's matchup with CD. There are other things I am scared about. I just think that this might be a game where Pat plays well and gives up 50 yards. And when you're giving up 50 yards on that side of the field and Riley has what he has to handle, to me, you just can't have the big plays. You got to leave your safeties deep. You got to keep everything in front of you. And when you get to the red zone, get off the field.
Yeah, and I guess that's the right way of looking at it, is how are you going to defend, not which one are you truly going to be able to take away. But are you going to focus more on just defending the deep stuff, or are you going to be willing to take risks and move up? And I think that you got to leave the safeties back.
No, this team is designed to not let you throw the ball deep by getting there with pass rush.
Right.
This whole team, like, if you're passing, you should be playing into the hands of this defense.
On third downs, I'm right there with you. On third downs, you send everybody, you get into the backfield, you heat them up. First and second down, I think you make sure they aren't getting the chunks. You're hoping they run the ball, and if they run the ball, I think this defensive front, what we've seen is that they will shut that down. And, in coverage, Dak's probably not going to get confused by the late safety rotations or anything like that. But I think that's where you You have to play modern NFL defense, which is you start in that big coverage shell and you make them work for everything.
And that's going to be the key for me for this defense is, does the front step up and contain Javonte? You can let Javonte go for 70 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Just make it where it's not 7 carries for 70 yards. What you can't do is you can't let him go for 120 like he's done in 2 of the past 3 weeks here, 90, 100 yards. And he's very capable of doing that. So can this front stack up? Because I believe the way that the Cowboys have been played against, it's been a lot of 2 high safeties, which then has allowed Javonte to run. And I do think that the Broncos are going to do a lot of 2 high. I think that is going to be the game plan. Now you get a little bit of flexibility because of Pat and how good he is, but you still just can't get torched by those receivers. So I do think that they're going to play safe with the pass.
The Cowboys are 2-1-1 in their last 4 games. The one game that they lost, 19 carries for 31 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, they took away the run. The Panthers did. They still scored 27 points because Dak threw for 261 yards. But they were able to make that offense one-dimensional, and I think that's why they won that game.
Yeah.
What? Am I looking at the wrong
keep going.
one?
No, you're good.
To me, what you can't afford is to get into a shootout with the Cowboys. Every one of their wins this year, or even their tie. So all of the games that they didn't lose this year, they've scored 37 or more points.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
They should not be able to do that to you.
No.
But if you're trying to avoid a shootout, the big plays are what lead to the shootout. Them going 5 yards at a time means they're taking 6 minutes off the clock.
It's true.
And guys,
it's tough.
Crazy little trivia question, probably tipping you off if you guys didn't know already. Who leads the Cowboys in catches?
Yeah, the question makes me think it's Ferguson.
The question makes me think it's Javonte Williams.
It's Jake Ferguson. And not only did Jake Ferguson lead the team in catches, guys, he's 4th in the NFL in catches. Not for tight ends. For everyone, he's 4th in the NFL. So not only do you have to worry about CeeDee and George, you got to worry about Jake Ferguson in the middle here. And
I wasn't that bad of a guess. Javonte does have 23 catches on the year.
yeah, Ferguson has 51, which is just insane.
Third, Javonte. That's crazy.
And here's the thing is, people are saying good luck, Singleton. This isn't going to be Singleton's task. Vance Joseph is not going to task Alex Singleton with covering Jake Ferguson. So if you see Jake Ferguson catch some passes, it's not going to be on Javonte. And then that makes it interesting. Which safety is it? How does he play that? Is it Strnad? That might be, I feel like I'm saying this about every part of the Cowboys offense, but that might be the most difficult part of this game is containing Jake Ferguson, and just he can catch 5-yard passes, tackle him right away.
Well, so that again goes back to, like, are you just playing over the top? That's why he's leading the team in catches.
Totally.
Because everyone else is saying, okay, take away the big stuff, put the safeties back, and that does leave your linebackers in coverage on Jake Ferguson. And then Jake Ferguson's getting catches for 6 yards every time he catches it. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's why the Cowboys went out and got George Pickens. They make it really tough for you. And it happens to be really great for them that Javonte Williams is back to his former self too. Because now you're screwed everywhere. There's no easy answers to playing the Cowboys on offense, which is why they have 40 points in several games and 37 in another.
Yeah.
I think they have 40 points in 3 games.
A 40-point tie is insane.
Yeah. 40 points in 3 games, 37 in another.
Yep.
My goodness.
They're incredibly difficult to defend. So there's going to be, Riley Moss is going to give up catches to George Pickens.
Yep.
If you have linebackers, doesn't matter if it's Singleton or someone else, they're going to give up catches to Jake Ferguson.
Yep.
Javonte Williams is going to get 6-7 yard carries. It's just what it is. So it's bend, don't break.
And the good thing is,
you have to buck up in the red zone.
So it's like, how are the Cowboys this good and only 3-3-1? It's because their defense sucks. It is so bad. Yep. They give up the most yards in the NFL. They give up the 3rd most points in the NFL. Every single metric you look at, the Cowboys are just terrible. So there is good news. There's good news about this Cowboys team is that Bo Nix should have a good day. J.K. Dobbins, we should see a resurgence from him. And let's get the scouting report on the Cowboys from our guy, Brian Baldinger. And before we do that, got to give a shout out to our friends over at Dick's Sporting Goods, where anytime, like for the past 20 years since Dick's been around, if not just my entire life, anytime I've needed sporting apparel or just something related to sports, the only place I ever think about is Dick's. And you can go to Dicks.com or you can visit one of their front range locations where Dick's has the hottest apparel and footwear from top brands like Nike, Adidas, FP Movement, Kalia, and DNVR. That's right. You can get your DNVR gear over at Dick's. Plus, I mean, if you need something for your kid or you're going to be playing in a Volo league or something for baseball, football, soccer, basketball, golf, they've got it all. And if you find a better price somewhere else, they're going to match you with their best price match guarantee. So get your gear fast with free curbside pickup at your nearest store or easy shipping from Dicks.com, because every season starts at Dick's.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Common Spirit Health. The Mountain Region is home to an incredible sports medicine program, including the new sports center, Common Spirit Health in Parker. Team of qualified and passionate providers specializes in the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of sports-related injuries for all athletes, including your Denver Broncos. Their experts understand the unique demands of your body, and you'll get personalized treatment plans combining things like physical therapy and injury prevention strategies and strength training. This isn't about fixing what's broken always. It's about preventative care, performance enhancement, and getting you back to peak condition safely and quickly. So don't let an injury keep you on the bench, or even better, get proactive about your health. For more information, visit mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the first place 5-2 Denver Broncos.
Boom, and shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Place a $5 bet after depositing $10. You're going to get $200 in your account right away. You hear? Do we have them? Okay, wasn't sure since you pulled that up, but let's also give a shout out to our Toyota chat. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up. I have loved reviewing everyone's comments after the fact, who's left comments below. Yesterday we had like 80 comments, at least just a couple of hours after. I loved going through those, so thank you for agreeing, disagreeing, giving us your input, and we are going to give our game picks in the next segment, but before we do that, I want you to drop your game picks in the Toyota chat and below. Do you think the Broncos are going to win? And if so, what's the score? I think right now the spread over at Bet365 is Broncos -3.5.
That's crazy to me, though, right? Like, are you guys on the same
Crazy
page?
to you because you're terrified of the Cowboys.
And for some reason, it feels like I'm the only one.
Yeah. I respect the Cowboys. I do not fear them.
I don't even know that I respect them. I
fear
think
them without respecting them?
I kind of think they're a joke, but they're just the world's scariest joke.
Yeah, I'm with you, Henry.
Yeah, it's like an evil clown.
I was just going to say.
Right. It's like I can't respect that.
There's a
but
person on my street who has like an incredibly evil clown as part of their Halloween decorations, and I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why are you? What? I don't want to look at this.
Yeah,
every day.
no.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Right.
Someone in the Toyota chat asked a good question, which is Dak taking sacks? Not really. I mean, 8 on the season so far, so about 1-ish a game.
What's Bo at?
I don't know.
I think Bo has the second fewest sacks. They actually might be tied for the second fewest sacks in the NFL.
Interesting. They'll take me a minute.
Because Bo got sacked a couple of times last week, which was uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Dak sacked 8.
All right,
Why
Henry's.
is this
It's
so hard?
gonna, yeah.
I'll find it faster than you. You're
Probably
supposed to be
will.
the stats guy.
Well, because I thought I had like a page open of Broncos stats.
Bo has
but I
been
don't.
sacked 8 times as well.
Wow.
Yep. And I think there's only
That's
one
fun.
person that's been sacked, fewer than them. So yeah, they're really good at not taking sacks. And that's going to be another key to this for this Broncos defense. We saw Nik Bonitto not get a sack last week. That's like the first time in forever that's happened. I bet he turns it on. And guys, if Jonathan Cooper had, wow, you hear just going right for it. I like it.
My Friday day.
It's his Friday. He just popped a Coors Light. I
Good
love
for-
it. I
good for
love
you,
it.
yeah.
I'm in full support.
If Jonathan
I think.
Cooper has 2 sacks in this game, he and Nik Bonitto will become the 5th pair of teammates to have 8 sacks each through 8 games of a season, which is just incredible production. You know who else did it?
No.
Vaughn and DeMarcus. They did it in 2014, so that would be a sign of good things to come.
There's a shocking amount of people who commented on our content from the Super Bowl 50 reunion. Where's Vaughn?
Yeah.
No, it's like he's an active player in the NFL.
And the other one, no one said, where's Brandon McManus?
No one said where's Brandon McManus. 0 people were wondering about that.
Broncos actually get to play both of them this year.
You know what my first thought was?
What?
Where's Todd Davis?
Yes.
Right.
And you know where he was? He was
coaching the Broncos.
He was actually out there for the DT ceremony.
Oh, good.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't see him in any of the pictures because I thought like maybe they could sneak him out there for one of the pictures.
Yeah, so I actually stood next to him during the DT thing because he didn't have to coach yet. The pillar ceremony before the game, he was wearing a Burberry coat that like was a trench coat, and I'm like, man, you are living your best life right now. He's looking so
Shout out,
sharp.
Todd.
And then I asked him like, are you gonna be able to go out there at halftime? He was like, I haven't asked Sean yet, so I don't know.
He
if
probably
I'm
never
going
did.
to.
He probably never did.
Yeah, probably a safe move.
Yeah, fight your battles wisely.
yeah.
Like Todd asked, does Sean throw like a little dig at him the next week? Yeah, we have one of our coaches just not even being with us at halftime.
Yeah,
Maybe. I will tell you this: Sean loves Todd,
of course.
and Todd is.
That's how he was able to pry him away from the premier Denver Broncos podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's good when your head coach loves you and your defensive coordinator loves you.
True.
And you're making it up through the ranks.
It's true.
Do we have Baldy? Okay. Today's a little different day for Baldy, so maybe we won't get him. We're waiting on him. Let me check my email to make sure he hasn't said anything.
I just hate a game where the whole key for the Broncos is just to take advantage of a bad defense.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst possible matchup.
Ask and you shall receive.
And there we go. There's our guy Brian Baldinger. Let's bring in the legend, Baldy. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, guys. Probably not as good as you are after watching that fourth quarter last week, but I'm doing just quite fine. Just jumped out of the ocean and got up here in time to do a couple of these interviews. So I'm in good shape right now. Good spirits.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be doing better than us just
Yeah,
jumping
that
out of
sounds
the
kinda
ocean.
nice.
That is impressive. But because you mentioned it, Baldy, were you more disappointed by the way the Broncos played in the first 3 quarters on offense, or more impressed with putting up 33 points in 1 quarter? What did you think of that crazy game?
It was crazy. I think I was more impressed by the fourth quarter because I went back and just watched the fourth quarter again. And I counted 12 unbelievable plays by Bo Nix that you had to make in order to win. Now, it helps that Sternad gets the interception, short field. And it helps that, the ball bounces through Cortland Sutton's hands and Troy Franklin's hands for a touchdown. It kind of bounced off the touchdown that the Giants got like that. But it was one unbelievable play after another, whether it was scramble throws, keeping plays alive, just throws in general. Like maybe if you can get 5 or 6 of those plays in a whole game, you probably had an outrageous game. He did it all in 1 quarter, and they needed all of them to come back and win. So I think when you can do that, it probably sends a message to the whole team that we're never out of a game, no matter what happens at any point during the game.
Talking to Mike McGlinchey yesterday, one of the things that he said was it should not be possible for a team to be able to score 33 points in the fourth quarter and also go 45 minutes without scoring a single point. Like if you're able to score that many, like it just should not be possible to do both.
It's never happened before.
That's the total definition of a tale of 2 cities, 2 games right there. And Mike put it in a good way.
Right. Like what do you do about that if you're the Broncos? Like we see the capability. It feels like it's so rare that they're getting outplayed on a down-to-down basis. It's just that they shoot themselves in the foot. They miss blocks, they miss throws, they drop passes. Should we feel better about this team? Like, is that something that they can just get cleaned up in 1 week and all of a sudden they're off and running and playing like they did in that fourth quarter for the rest of the year?
I don't think you're going to say anything like that again. Like, I don't feel like they're clicking all the way. We've seen moments where the pass rush takes over. We've seen moments where they run the ball really well. We've seen moments this year. But honestly, in just talking to coaches around the league, like everybody – I don't care what the record is, even Indianapolis right now. I feel like every team is trying to work through kinks and work through things that just aren't where they need them to be. And I know we're going into week 8 tonight, but I just feel like this is a league-wide thing with the amount of injuries, the limited time in preseason, the limited time of practice. I feel like teams are still trying to find identities, find out what they do well, and so I just feel like this is what the league is right now. Like, I don't think anybody is going to run away with this thing like the way they did last year in Philadelphia and some of the teams, Detroit. Like, I don't think we're going to see that this year. And I think Denver is right there in the middle of that.
Baldy, a lot of talk this week about how bad the Cowboys defense is. What makes them bad, and what can the Broncos do to exploit their weaknesses?
Well, they got better last week. The Shamar James is a young rookie, 5th-round pick out of Florida that looked better at linebacker. Their run fits were atrocious. Losses to, their play against Carolina. You just look at these run fits and you're like, what are they? Like, normally, like run fits, like you should have helmets in the A gap, in the B gap, in the C gap. Like, that's the way every defense, whether you're 3-4, 4-3, whatever you are, like, you got to be a gap defense. And, when you put 2 tight ends on the field, you have to defend another gap. Okay. And like, these are just basic. They were terrible at it. They played better last week of it. But honestly, their offense has been so good that it's just covered for it right now. I mean, the offense is just visibly, you don't have to even look at the stats. Visibly, that's the best offense in football. And they almost seem, when they get CeeDee and Pickens and Ferguson and Javonte going, like, Dak isn't missing. And he's not missing a read right now. It's something like the offense is just overcome. But the run fits has been atrocious defensively. And they've had issues at corner too. Big issues in getting guys on the field and trying to man up that position right now.
So then, Baldy, with that Cowboys offense, should Vance be more focused on building a game plan around slowing down the passing attack or slowing down the rushing attack? How do you combat this Cowboys offense?
Well, you guys watched Javonte for, 3 or 4 years there in Denver.
Yep.
He doesn't even look like the same guy. Like, he's 5 yards away from leading the league in rushing right now. He's averaging 5.3 yards a carry. Like, I believe that the passing game right now and the way they're throwing it has opened up the run game. You're getting a lot of good run looks with safeties, 10, 15 yards deep, and they're taking advantage of that because they run the ball well when they had 4 backup offensive linemen in there, and Javonte was running the ball well. And, this Clayton Adams coming over from Arizona is pretty clever with the way that they're doing it. It's not the same old inside zone, outside zone play. Like, they're running power, they're running with Kevontae Turpin and fly sweeps. They're doing it in a variety of ways right now to keep you kind of off guard. But I would say you better figure out a way to limit Pickens and CeeDee right now in the passing game. And honestly, like, if you just do this and watch the game this week, just count to when Dak gets the snap, just count to 3 and see if the ball is out by the time you get to not even 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Just go 1, 2, 3 and see if the ball is out. The ball is out fast. And, that's tough on Nick and Jonathan and the guys coming after you. Like, the ball's been out. Like, you got to figure out a way to make him hold the ball beyond 3 seconds right now.
It seems like I'm the most scared of the Cowboys of anybody here. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the Broncos are favored in this game. Like, I think opened at 5.5-point favorites, down to 3.5-point favorites. What do you think of that? When you just look at where the Broncos are right now, where the Cowboys are, and all the explosive plays they generate, are they really in kind of 2 different tiers? Like maybe the betting odds would make you think.
Well, I don't know. Like, watching Jonathan, watching Dre Greenlaw play last week, he looks like an upgrade, and so I think they're getting healthier right now. Malcolm Roach is back out there for a couple of weeks. I feel like the defensive line rotation is better. I know what the score looked like after 3 quarters last week, but I feel like they're looking at the Broncos defense is that they're going to make some plays in this game that other teams can't do against Dallas's offense, and that's going to keep the score down. And they're not going to score in the 40s like they've done 3 times this year. So I feel like that's part of maybe what they're looking at. But, I think that, they've got to figure out a way right now. I mean, maybe it's as simple as, okay, Surtain goes on CeeDee or Surtain goes – like, if I had a choice, I would put Surtain on George Pickens and figure out everything else. Like I would take Pickens away with Patrick, and I think you're going to see a lot of that in this game.
Baldy, this has been a big conversation in Denver this week, and I don't want to lead you one way or the other, so I'm just going to ask you as straight as possible. What do you think of Sean Payton's play calling so far this season?
I think it's been good. Like I'm trying to remember the game a couple weeks ago. I might have to look it up, but there was a game a couple weeks ago where he was ahead of what they were doing defensively. I know they hit him on a blitz 0 for a touchdown at the end of the game, and he had the perfect play call on to do it. The problem, if there's a problem with Sean, is he's just got so much offense, with so many young players. And so can you really perfect all of it with a new left guard and some of the, changes and stuff, and a new tight end and, young receivers? Can you run all of it and perfect all of it? I mean, I might be wrong in that. Maybe it's not. Like, I'm looking at his menu and I'm like, I hope that's not the same menu that he was giving Drew Brees in year 15. I've seen coaches make those mistakes before where they're like, when Tom Brady, moved on and New England was still running Tom Brady's offense. I'm like, that's not really fair to Mac Jones. And so that might be a little bit of, maybe it's just too much. It might not be a bad idea to trim some of it down and just try to perfect some of the things that are on that play sheet right there.
Yeah, that's very fair. And Baldy, final one for you. Another conversation that we've been having is something that Bo said yesterday. Bo said we have a penalty problem, and the Broncos do. 120 yards in penalties in 2 of the past 3 games, lead the league in penalty yards. You being a former player, being also so connected with pretty much every coach in the NFL, how do you correct penalties? Or if it's a problem that's happened through 7 weeks, is it just kind of in the DNA of this team?
I hope it's not in the DNA. A couple things. One, hopefully the officials are out at practice, okay? It's like some level of officiating at practice. Just like pre-snap penalties kill you. Like that's just discipline. There's a lot of motion, a lot of shifting. Pre-snap penalties, movement is just concentration. Most holding calls are because you're out of position. So why are you out of position? And why aren't your feet in better position or your hands in better position, whether it's a defensive back or an offensive lineman? So you can break these penalties down into a lot of categories, and you can identify them and go, okay, this is what you have to do better. This is what's getting us in trouble. And so I think some of that, you play defense with your feet and with your eyes and be in better position than, grabbing somebody on a double move or a double, a slant and go, whatever it is. So I think all that stuff can be addressed and can be improved.
I love it. I love it. Great breakdown, Baldy. Looking forward to talking to you next week, and say hello to some barracudas for us in that ocean.
Okay. All right. Hopefully the barracudas show up on that defensive line this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Feeding
Thanks,
time.
Baldy. Have a great weekend there. Man, the absolute best. What a way to show up, too.
Yeah.
You can tell the hair's still a little wet.
Zach's like, let me check to see if he sent me an email. He's ready. Like, no, he's just in the ocean.
That is just too cool. Great insight from Baldy. And let's give our picks for this week after I give a shout out to our friends over at Monarch Money, where every single month I get to the end of the month, where did my money go? And then I'm like, okay, I need to plan better. Well, and then it takes a lot of time to plan where your money's going and budget. Instead, just turn to our friends over at Monarch Money, where they are going to help you, because Monarch Money is built for people with busy lives. And if the finances just a little too much to handle, Monarch Money is going to make it very simple. Also, finances can be a big part of relationship fighting. Monarch Money takes that away by just making it very clear to understand. And the cool thing about Monarch Money, they take your money everywhere it's located, whether it's in investments, whether it's in a credit card, a debit card, savings, and put it all into one so you know exactly where your money is. They are Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, Forbes' best app for couples, and CNBC's top fintech companies in the world. And you can get 50% off your first year by going to monarchmoney.com and use the code DNVR. That's code DNVR over at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year.
And shout out to Taco Bell. We all love Taco Bell, spend a lot of time at Taco Bell, but don't spend a lot of money at Taco Bell because it's just filled with great deals. They've got the crispy chicken now, basically like chicken fingers with premium all white marinated chicken, like high quality stuff with a crunchy tortilla chip coating, but then they put it in all their different products. So a taco, a burrito, or you can just get them themselves if you want. So good. Some dipping sauces, they're awesome, including they're partnering with Frank's Red Hot, and you're bringing you a red hot creamy buffalo sauce, which pairs perfectly in your taco burrito or for dipping. If you have a group, then you can throw in a few Buffs boxes with 4 Taco Bell classics and a player collectible cup for only $7 to satisfy your Taco Bell crave. This is the best deal in all of Colorado. Taco Bell is a proud partner of CU Athletics, and it's donating $1,000 to the Golden Buffalo Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored in 2025. Liv Moss at Taco Bell.
And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. If you're going to get on an action this weekend, whether it's college ball tomorrow, Thursday night football tonight, which we got an AFC West game. I'm going to get your guys' picks in just a second for that. Or, of course, CU Saturday night or NFL and the Broncos on Sunday. Use that code DNVR365 over at Bet365 when you sign up. All right, fellas.
Quickly.
Yes.
I just have to, like, as we're talking to Baldy there, it's just like hitting me. We are so lucky that we get to go through a week. We talk to Brian Baldinger. We get to talk to Benny Fowler.
Yep.
We get to talk to Dave Logan.
Yeah.
We get to talk to Keith Talib.
Yeah.
The amount of like football knowledge that we are surrounded by, and like also just greatness on a weekly basis, is so cool. And I hope like people are willing to listen to what these guys have to say.
Yeah.
Any of them. But like, because I actually like when I have a thought and then like Benny vehemently disagrees with me.
Right.
So it like opens my eyes to be like, oh, okay, well, I should definitely take a longer look at this before I'm saying that. Or like if I obviously love it when I have a strong opinion and then they agree with me.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's very unique to have this much ball knowledge focus on one team every single week.
100%. And I get to hear from Ryan Koenigsberg, from Henry Chisholm. Sometimes you hear chimes in
Coors
too.
Light.
And it truly is very cool. And Ryan, it's really cool to take that 10,000 foot step approach and look at it, because we get so caught in the day-to-day, and the day-to-day is awesome. It's amazing. We just talked to Brian Baldinger and we get to talk Broncos, but to view it from that perspective is quite crazy and cool. And it's all of you guys that make it possible. So shout out to the Toyota chat. We really, really appreciate you right there. What are you saying here? Oh, yep. Hit us with a thumbs up. That doesn't give me the like button. There you go. Hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Okay, guys. Should we start with Broncos or end with Broncos?
End with Broncos.
Okay, let's start with tonight then. Thursday night football. You have the Vikings taking on the Chargers. And I think the Vikings are still starting Carson Wentz.
They are, but Carson Wentz has never, ever lost on Thursday Night Football.
Is
Really?
that true?
7-0 career.
7-0. Similar to the Broncos winning 7 in a row against the Cowboys.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Fortunately, I've got that streak ending, and I think Carson Wentz loses tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. I am picking the Chargers. I am also going to place a large wager on the Chargers. And that, my friends, is notable because I am on a epic freezer right now.
Right.
So I'm hoping to
Wait,
use
still?
my powers to jinx the Chargers into a loss by betting a lot of money on
This isn't the same freezer as a month ago, is it?
I don't think so. No, I had
Okay,
a couple
good.
in between.
Okay,
well,
good.
no, it is because I was gone for 2 weeks.
Right.
That's true.
Oof.
Wait, so are you going spread or money line on Chargers?
What's the spread?
That's a good question. The spread looks to be for tonight's game 3.5.
Yeah.
Chargers favored by 3.5.
I'll go money line because I don't want to have a chance where I lose money and the
Yeah,
Chargers
that's
win.
for
Right.
sure. The Chargers are on a free fall. They started
Yeah.
off 4-0, 4-3 right now, and obviously a last-second field goal away from being 3-4 and on a 4-game skid with the loss to the Broncos there. But Carson Wentz is terrible.
He's
Carson
been in a
Wentz-
free fall for about 5 years
Yeah,
now.
Carson Wentz is so bad. Unfortunately, the Chargers get it right at least this week, which then puts more pressure on the Broncos, which is okay.
Did I see that like JJ McCarthy is active as the emergency quarterback?
Yeah, I think they're kind of doing what Russ did last year.
JJ McCarthy was worse than what Wentz is now, though. Those first couple games were just atrocious.
Well, he had that
Wentz
crazy
is so
comeback
bad.
against the Bears.
He did, but like he couldn't get the ball out of his hand. Like
Wow.
he was just standing like this and getting hit over and over again. That guy was awful.
Damon Sanchez says the Vikings are 0-7 on Thursday Night Football, so something's got to give if that's
That's
true.
because they used to have the worst player
Yeah, it's true.
on Thursday
Right.
Night Football, which is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Right.
That's very true. Wow, what a matchup tonight. So we're all going to be saying Skull Vikings here. Let's hope we're all wrong. Okay, then we got the Commanders taking on the Chiefs. This is prime time game on Monday Night Football, and I believe Jaden Daniels is not playing.
Correct.
Marcus Mariota against the Chiefs in Kansas City. Anyone want to be a Mariota fan? He was the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
Again, this reminds me of last week when the Falcons were out there. I was like, I will always support the Falcons. I always think they're going to win. But then they're going up against Mac Jones, and I'll always bet on Mac Jones.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
and
That's
so
what I'm
I was
talking
torn.
about.
But this is one where, like, my policy is I bet on Marcus Mariota. He's been underrated for like 6 years now and always has, like, he isn't always awesome, but he's always just a tick better than people expect and win some games. Unfortunately, this is the best Chiefs team in a few years. And I think they might win this game by about 25.
Spread's 11.5. So yeah,
Is it what? Oh, yeah.
11.5. If you wanted to go crazy and bet on Marcus Mariota to win, you get plus 500 over at Bet365.
You know what? I might make that bet.
God, I
but
just,
not on these.
Not without the
Okay.
5-1 odds.
Okay,
no.
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm sick to my stomach that I'm going to have a Chargers and a Chiefs helmet next to my name, but it is what it is.
Yep, and I'm going obviously with the Chiefs as well. At least you don't have to have a Raiders helmet because they are on their bye
Thank
this week,
God.
and probably
Well,
we'd all
I'd be
pick
picking
against them. But guys, the way this sets up is if these two things happen, the Broncos, if they lose, they're in a three-way tie for first place. If they win, sole possession of first place. So this is a big game for the Broncos to win and just keep that command of the division, especially with how the Chiefs are coming on. So now I need your official prediction. Do the Broncos win? And if so, what is the score prediction? Again, we're not picking against the spread, but just in the back of your mind, the spread is Broncos by 3.5, and the over-under set at 51.5.
Give me Broncos 27-24.
All right. Broncos win. Don't cover the spread unless it changes in the next 48 hours. And you like the under by 0.5 point. Yeah. So you're pretty much going exactly what Vegas thinks on this game. Henry, where are you going? I'm curious.
I got to go with the Cowboys. And I really hate doing it. I picked the Broncos in every game up to this point. I was wrong twice. Hopefully I'm wrong for the third time. But the Broncos offense inspires zero confidence, negative confidence. I think at this point,
The last quarter the Broncos played in, they scored 33 points.
Also true.
On pace for 132.
But it was like 16 consecutive drives without a touchdown before that.
Yeah, six straight quarters.
Yeah. Like there's just too much of that. And it's not just that one game. It's the Jets. They figured it out at the end against the Eagles. But there was a lot of that game against the Eagles. I think this is when push comes to shove and you don't get bailed out again against an offense like this. I think if there are 15 offenses, maybe 20 offenses in the NFL. If the Broncos had that offense this week, I'd say, yep, good shot here. But with what the Broncos are doing, I can't do it. I'll say 31-20.
Oh my goodness. That would be brutal.
Yeah.
It's fair though, and Henry, I hate this game. I hate this game so much because of how the Cowboys offense is clicking. The Broncos defense is great, but the Cowboys offense is so good. This is a true coin toss game for me. And you were really skeptical of the 3.5 point spread for the Broncos. I'm so skeptical of that. I'm staying so far away from that spread. But I'll go 27-26 Broncos. Because there's just
Missed extra point.
Maybe
Best kicker in the
You know
NFL.
what? Shout out to
I don't remember
their
that
kicker
guy's
last
name. Mac
weekend.
Tanker or something.
Really helping the
Yeah.
Broncos.
We'll never hear his name again.
McTamney.
Someone in the Twitter chat earlier brought up a good point that Brandon Aubrey, the Cowboys kicker, could legitimately hit
Right.
the longest field goal in NFL history
could crush
in
it.
this game because he has the best leg.
Yeah.
He's accurate as hell.
crush it?
And now it's in the mile
I think he
high.
could hit from 75.
I think so too.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah,
It is,
and
but I think
Henry's right.
yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
way they would attempt that because that means the Broncos would get the ball on the 25-yard line if he misses.
I mean,
35. Oh no, you're right. Because
25,
yeah,
because
because
where he
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
end of the half.
No, 35 because of the end zone.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
End of the half.
We're not seeing a 75-yard field goal.
I will also say we are not seeing a 75-yard field goal, but there's a tiny little chance.
I don't think we'll ever see a 75-yard field goal attempted
We will.
ever.
We will. And it's going to be by him.
I'll say he sets a record in this game, but it comes in a Broncos win,
I think he's gonna hit a
27-26.
68-yard field goal.
Yeah.
in
Is
this
the
game.
record 67?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll say it's 70.
Hasn't moved in a couple years now, right?
I
It happened in preseason.
Did in preseason. Or 70 in preseason.
75. You guys are psycho.
He could do it.
Yeah, unfortunately he can. He's a freak.
70 I could see.
All right, those are our scores. Let us know who you are taking in this game. And before we get out of here, we're going to hit some super chats in overtime. Go to thednvr.com to finish the show in overtime. And we have some super chats. First one is coming in from our friend Pure Lapine, who says, okay, to reiterate, Sean doesn't call defense, and he doesn't have to go to the bench to talk to Bo. Send Davis Webb to bring your quarterback to you on the sideline and just talk to your quarterback. So this goes to a conversation we had yesterday about should Sean just be on the bench with Bo when the defense is on the field. And we all said, no, he's the head coach. He needs to be there managing the game, and that's what Davis Webb's job is. So Pure Lapine is countering by saying, okay, well, have Davis Webb bring Bo from the bench to the sideline to talk to him. What do you guys think?
I don't want to say there's nothing that Sean could add to those conversations, but Davis Webb can get 90% of it done. Like, he knows the offense. He knows what's supposed to happen. If there's a mistake, he knows what the mistake is. He can tell him what the right thing to do. Like, I don't think you're losing a whole lot in that moment having the guy who's in his ear all week also be the guy who's in his ear on game days. Then you throw in the fact, again, that like Sean's the head coach. There are a lot of things he does. He's in constant communication with all the defensive staff. What are we trying to do here? What's working? He wants to see what's working, what's not working, so that when you get into the next drive of the offense, you're like, hey, they're running all over us right now. And I don't think that there's a way we can stop it. We need to change how we attack here because of how that's like, he's the head coach. And while the quarterback is the most important player on the team, there's still the other 65% of the game or more that's decided by the rest of the team. You focus on the whole team, not just one player.
Pure Lapine also adds really quick, shout out for you for dropping 2 super chats. Says, you can argue with me all you want, but the only head coach that I remember that took time to talk to his quarterback was Mike Shanahan, and he only won us 2 Super Bowls. If you can't learn from success, ...
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this is their order of operations, which is that that Bo comes to the sideline, he talks to the quarterback's coach. Quarterback's coach then relays what's going on to Sean.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they have the headsets on. Sean could easily be communicating with Davis Webb. Sean is not out of the loop of what's going on here. I think it just might be more semantics and how we're viewing this, but Sean is in some form or fashion talking to Bo. Apple Kid says, Broncos went to Philly on a short week, then went all the way to London, then came back to Denver versus the Giants, who had extra time. Broncos win against the Cowboys 27-17. Give me that. Outside of like a 100-0 score, that might be such an ideal score because you hold the best offense in the NFL to 17 points, and then your defense, I don't care if it's against a crappy defense or your offense against a crappy defense, scores 27. Man, we're feeling so good on Sunday night, Monday morning.
Yeah. And I think there is something too. We do have to remember they looked bad last week. They did have to make an international flight. They're playing a team that had an extra couple days of rest. The week before, it's a weird week going out there. We talked about after the game, it's a weird game when you're in front of it almost feels more like a preseason game than a regular season game. Like, you took the international flight before that. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
But we also saw what we saw, and what we saw is that they did not play well at all.
I will say, today's about the first day that I feel normal
Okay.
since flying back on Monday, which I feel like I just like lost Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Right.
Those just weren't even real days in my brain.
They were not useful.
It's very, very fair.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what the Broncos had to deal with last week. Andrew chimes in and
Got a
says,
stat that I want to end the show with.
okay, perfect. Andrew says, I have a feeling this is a game where everything clicks. I think it will help Bo to run the high-tempo Tom Brady circa 2007, not letting defenses substitute and leaving some offensive personnel in the game.
Imagine if they had 2007 Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Boy, would that make this offense look a little different.
Imagine if 2007 Tom Brady had 2025 Cortland Sutton.
We don't need to go down that road. That's a sad road to go down. But yeah, I mean, if you want to see the tempo, bad news, you're not seeing the tempo.
Not consistently, that's for damn
No.
sure. Okay, that's going to do it for us. Ryan.
Before we end with stats, Hank just dropped a brand new video.
Yeah.
Inside Scoop. Go watch it. Why the screens aren't working. It's a really good video.
Join
If anybody-
millions of others in watching this video.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. I love it. All right, Ryan, take us out.
All right, Henry, this
Oh, it's
should
up to
make
tens
you
of
feel
millions.
better.
Oh, good.
Feel more confident in the Broncos because it definitely did me. Going back to 2022, the Cowboys are 28-10 on turf. On grass, 5-13.
That's crazy.
The Cowboys take their talents to the natural grass
Okay.
of Mile High Stadium this weekend.
I like it. They are a turf team.
5-14, here they come.
And they're going to be sucking hair all game.
Right.
I like it. Let's see if they can pull this off and be 6-2. That is
so.
insane. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you back here on Sunday for a stacked day. We got the pregame going on at 1:30, 1:45
Yep.
because the game's at 2:25. We're going to be doing a watch along all game, and then we're also going to be doing a post game. So make sure to be rocking and rolling with us on YouTube all day Sunday. Henry, you got anything?
Come to the tailgate.
Boom.
Come to the
tailgate.
bar.
Cowboys have never beaten the Broncos in Henry's entire life.
Also true, 7-0. Also, my mom will be at the tailgate.
I love it.
So if you will, this might be your one opportunity to meet my mom.
To get legal
worth it.
advice, right?
Right? Yes.
Yes,
worth
yes. That'll do it for us today. We will see you on Sunday, whether it's on YouTube or in person at the tailgate. See ya.
God bless Bo Nix.
Y'all see